Hey, guys. Remember me? My name's Heavy D, and that's my best friend, Diesel Dave. Where'd he go?
I've missed you.
We buy trucks.
Yeah. And we're off.
Fix trucks. We sell them for a profit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously, man.
Then we set sail on our first ever diesel boat build. I'm the captain now.
You doing the pirate thing? I felt like we'd go like modern day sailors.
Oh.
What era are we talking?
Gotta be Vietnam.
Mostly what you're seeing is just 30 years worth of sitting in a field.
We start the show, bro. Shakaraka, hoagies and grinders. Yeah. Hell
You ready for this? You know Buddy Dan Gardner?
Yeah.
You know how he's been telling us about his dad's mythical warehouse for years, trying to get us to go up there?
Years and years.
Well, he told me that there's an old army boat. It's a mix between like a ski boat and a barge. It's literally like made for wake surfing. Out here in Utah, any lake is gonna be packed. So that's why anytime you go to the lake around here, you're gonna see people wakeboarding, tubing, water skiing, surfing, but most of those boats are gas powered. He says there's twin diesel engines.
No.
How long have you and I been talking about trying to build a purpose-built diesel surf boat?
Oh, you're gonna make a surf boat?
I'm trying not to get my hopes up too high. I have no idea the actual condition. You don't see many diesel boats, if any. What we could do here is build this insanely cool, over-the-top, super unique, diesel-powered surfing boat. What's up, old man?
What's up, boss?
Boss, I'm glad you brought a trailer. Maybe we can haul some stuff off today.
That's what I understand. My biggest interest right now, though, is that damn boat. It's a unicorn to me at this point. I've always heard about it, never seen it.
It's called Miss Saigon.
It looks like an old
It's
loafer.
28 feet long. It's a bridge boat.
What era are we talking? 60s?
Gotta be Vietnam.
Oh, yeah. This boat was originally built for the Vietnam War. They designed this boat to go up the rivers and assemble bridges. A lot of times they would put a bridge across a river, and the river would be flowing so fast that they would put the boat on the other side of it and basically push against it and hold it there rather than letting it float downstream. Dude, this is sweet. The reason I'm interested in this boat is all the same reasons why I love old military equipment in general. It's strong, powerful, designed to go out and work, work, work.
It's not for speed, but it's for power. It's got 26-inch props.
Wakeboard boats have like 16-inch props. This has two 26-inchers.
Wait till you see how far this thing sits in the water. It throws a wake. You'll probably be able to surf behind it.
This could potentially, we're gonna still find out, this could throw out a giant surf wave that you would normally have to spend $150,000, $200,000 on a different type of boat to do. So engines are in here.
Engines are in there. 353 aluminum Detroits with the velvet drive. And it sounds good like your truck.
This engine weighs like 1,000 pounds. That's the same weight as one of our big Cummins 6-cylinder engines that we put in some of our pickup trucks. So even though it's half the amount of cylinders, it's rugged, heavy duty, and has grunt and torque. It was designed to take a beating at high RPMs in a boat all day. How long has it been since this thing ran?
Probably 96.
What's going on with the heads?
Well, there needs some work. That's your job.
That's my job.
I've got a couple more engines for you.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this whole thing here.
So if I give you 2 engines with it, will you give me $6,000 for it?
2 engines, plus the boat for $6 grand.
Yeah.
$5 grand for the boat, plus another grand for a couple of extra engines, just in case the engines in it aren't any good. That's a deal. I'll tell you what, this might be the first time in the history of buying something on the show that I'm not gonna haggle. I'm just gonna do it.
Deal.
A little bit of a risk, but if this thing throws a huge wave, there's no reason somebody wouldn't pay 40, 50 grand for it all day long.
You do realize you're a truck builder, not a boat builder.
Says who? Are you saying I'm just a truck builder? It's no fun to do the same thing over and over and over. And I guarantee no other diesel shop is doing a project like this right now.
Hey, Heavy D! I'm the captain now. Full throttle!
My brain has been reeling since I walked out of the shop yesterday evening to try and leave, and there's just a boat here. We can't put lift wheels and tires on this. This is something different. You already have a complete Sparks Metters infantry division.
Yes.
You have a Sparks Metters Air Force.
Right. Now we're about to have a Navy. Have we ever done a boat?
No.
So the plan is basically figure out, A, can we get it running? So if we can get this thing to throw a good wave, then we're gonna go crazy with it. We're gonna do a tower, we're gonna do speakers, we're gonna do all kinds of stuff to make this 1960-something boat look like a 2035 boat.
Nice.
See what I did there? I jumped 16 years ahead into the future. The bulk of my business is done in the dirt and on the pavement. We don't have a ton of experience buying and selling or building boats. What era are we talking? 60s?
Gotta be Vietnam.
We're trying to make a boat that was designed to basically build bridges, now go out on lakes and create a rip and surf wave. When I bought this boat, I negotiated that it would come with 2 extra engines.
A little bit more.
So what that means is we actually have 4 engines. But here's the deal. These engines are over a half a century old. They haven't been run in probably 20 or 30 years, so I have no idea if any of them work. How long has it been since this thing ran?
Probably 96.
If they work, awesome. If they don't, then this boat project, well, we won't be making any money on it.
As the engines sit for a long time, they don't run.
These have been sitting for probably 30 years.
We've got to see if they'll even spin over.
I've always wanted to work on one of these Detroit 2-stroke diesels. These things could create a ton of torque. When it comes to diesel engines, there's a 2-stroke and a 4-stroke. Now, 4-stroke is pretty much all the big rig engines, all the stuff we worked on in the past. And what that means, the piston goes down on its first stroke, sucks in clean intake air. Second stroke, it goes up and compresses the fuel and the air mixture. And then on a third stroke, it goes down and actually combusts. That's where the explosion happens, creates the power. And then it comes back up on the exhaust stroke and pushes out the exhaust air. On a 2-stroke engine, it does the compression and the combustion right there at the exact same time, which in turn pushes the piston back down, brings in more air, pushes out the exhaust. Every single hit is creating power, which is what makes these Detroit engines so damn unique. If we do any other engine option in that boat, we're looking at a minimum of $4 grand a piece, which I don't want to throw that much money at that boat yet. This one looks like it's been sitting at the bottom of the Great Salt Lake. The problem with this engine right now is, see that right there? That whole assembly is supposed to move like this. See it over here? That's what controls your injectors. That's what basically opens and closes the fuel flow. Right now, that's not working on that engine, so we're not gonna get any fuel flow to the cylinders, which means it's not gonna run. So here's the beautiful part of old mechanical engines. All we need is power from the batteries, fuel from the little fuel tank. We hit the starter, in theory, should fire right up. I don't think it has fuel. When you boil it down, a mechanical engine without a computer, if they don't run, it's gonna be one of 2 things. It's either not getting air or it's not getting fuel. Let me show you what a fuel injector is not supposed to look like. See that right there? That's the plunger assembly. That's supposed to go down and squirt fuel out. It's covered with little grease, little oil, a lot of rust, contamination. So these injectors aren't gonna do us any good. Here's the deal. We have 4 engines. We only need to get 2 of them to work. And as of right now, we're 0 for 2. We're currently knee-deep in smoke, sludge, brittle old gaskets, and any other kind of goo or slime that could ever possibly reside in an engine. This one looks like it's been sitting at the bottom of the Great Salt Lake. I don't think it has fuel. So these injectors aren't gonna do us any good. If we can't get any of these engines running, just need 2 of the 4. This boat project, it's dead in the water? Yes.
Hey!
Not bad. The good news is We finally caught a break with engine number 3.
All right, hit it, boys.
The oil filter's leaking. There's a little O-ring that goes around the bottom of it, and it got pinched in one little spot, which caused the oil to overflow. Every time we try to start it, it just pumps oil out everywhere, which means we're losing oil pressure, which means the engine can't start. Got pinched down in there again. Try that again.
How about now?
Try to start to return fuel now.
This 4th engine is trying its hardest to start. It means it just needs a little extra boost. Thank you.
So we're gonna use just a quick blast of starting fluid to kind of prime things and get it going a little bit.
Getting 2 of these Detroit engines running is huge.
Nice work.
Dude,
That's what I'm talking about.
sounds great,
Yeah.
but there's still a lot of work ahead of us. These engines are full of 40, 50, 60 years worth of crap. All right, so let's do this. We'll get ready to dig into the cooling system.
For sure.
Once you're ready to do that, let me know.
Yeah, let's do it then.
Nice work, dude.
All right, guys.
Found your calling.
Yeah.
See you, boss.
Whoa.
We just got to work transforming this 1960s era military boat into the ultimate diesel-powered wave maker. We tested all 4 of the motors and got 2 of the old Detroits to fire up. But before we can put the engines back in, we got to flush out the decades of rust and muck that's been inside this engine.
That's just one handful. What you see right here is 30 years worth of sitting in a field. Mostly what you're seeing is just metal deposits, rust. That is not good for a cooling system. There's lots of chunks and particles in there.
Flushing these old engines out and running them is the fastest way to make sure that they're gonna be good to go when we put them in the boat. And then, if they test good, then we can worry about doing performance upgrades later.
Those engines might be ready, but those schoolboys you got working in the shop sure as hell ain't.
When did this happen?
You had your head turned.
I think we ought to get some new hose for this.
Yeah.
Black. How tight you want this oil so black?
All right, men! Inspection!
What's he talking
What are you boys doing out here? What is this Detroit diesel? Looks like it's been buried in the Salt Lake for the last 30 years. Who's in charge of cleaning this?
That Detroit diesel engine served in Vietnam, sir. We did not want to clean it and disrespect the authenticity of the engine.
What'd you say to me? It looks like you've been too busy trimming that beard, getting that pretty boy haircut. Are you going back to school? Are you a little schoolboy?
No, sir.
Putting both of those Detroit motors in that boat, that's gonna be war. So today, we're gonna work your butts off. I don't know what I've been told. I don't know what I've been told. These Detroit diesels are pretty old. 1, 2, that's a sorry pull up. 3, all the way down. Full of muck and full of sludge. Full of muck and full of sludge. The oil pan, it looks like fudge. Ready, go. Hey, 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 like a little bunny rabbit. Don't kick those legs, keep them straight. Nice. Next, you need me to lower the forks?
Yes, sir.
There you go, princess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like you're getting tired. Oh no, gotta get that motor in. All right, pretty boy, let's see what you can do. It's recess, schoolboy. Diesel Davy is the GOAT. Diesel Davy is the GOAT. Sound off. 1, 2. Hope this boat floats. Hope this boat floats. Now they're ready.
You know that we just use the forklift for this, right? Like they're not actually putting the engines in.
Come on down a little bit.
Watch fingers. Cover your hair and your eyes.
Keep her coming.
I'm on over here.
Back up just a little.
Back up just a little bit.
Okay, down, down.
Bring it down. There it is.
All right, General Diesel. One down, one to go.
Port side.
Got it.
That's good, sir.
I like when you talk like that. Sir. Yes, sir.
Come on up, sir.
You boys ready?
Yeah. Bring it on in.
There you go.
Diesel. They're in, boys. They're in.
I'm pretty excited to see these engines back in the old boat. And it's time to take it out to the lake to figure out what kind of wave this boat throws, if any at all, because this really, like, we don't know anything about this boat. It could be a total flop.
Stop being dramatic, Private. Get down, give me 20.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come back when you're done with this thing.
You're gonna get down, give me 20. Don't you walk away from me, boy. Where are you going?
Good luck with this guy. Now we're gonna take it up to the lake and see what kind of wave it actually makes. There could be a million different things that go wrong, but there could also be a million different things that go right if we're able to break into that high-dollar wake surfing boat market with a twin diesel engine wake surf boat. Come on, let's get to the lake.
What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
I've got my buddy Colby from Brigade Surfboards coming up. This dude is a wizard when it comes to surfing behind a boat. Colby's going to tell us whether or not this boat can actually create a wave, because that's what he does day in and day out. So if this boat's going to throw a wave, it's going to be today with Colby. We're obviously the mechanical guys. We got the Detroit diesels in this thing up and running. It's designed to move a lot of water and a lot of weight, but what we don't know is how to get a good wave out of it.
She's got the size. She's apparently got the power.
Okay, well, let's put it in the water then and just go from there.
Let's do it.
That work? All right.
Water's glass enough.
I gotta be honest, it is a little nerve-wracking putting this boat into the water for the first time. I don't know about the hull. I mean, there could be leaks, there could be weird little things that we didn't see in the shop that really you would never even know existed until you put it in the water. So once it's in, we just gotta pray it doesn't sink. Maiden Voyage right here. I always say Maiden Voyage when we take a truck out for like a reveal, but this is legit a Maiden Voyage. This thing hasn't been in the water in 30 years. I'm really, really hoping that this boat creates a decent surf wave, because if it doesn't, then it's gonna be a lot harder to sell, and I may have potentially just purchased a $6,000 museum piece. You guys ready for this? Hammer down?
I'm ready.
Pretty damn smooth. I'm not gonna lie, those engines sound good, Andrew. Whatever you did in there. Look at the water it's moving though, dude.
You might have something here. A little bit bigger, I can surf that.
The first little wave that we got out of the boat before touching anything was about 2 feet tall. I'm telling you right now, we need to get some weight in here.
But if we want to be able to sell this thing and turn any sort of profit, it's going to have to throw a much bigger wave than that.
Right now, we want the boat to sit further in the water because we want it to displace more water. What do you think?
So I think we start out with a little bit of water weight. The good thing about the water weight, we got 1,100-pound bags in each, and we can fill up a little as we go.
All right, here we go.
See what I'm seeing?
That's surfable. We've still got a long ways to go, too. So we're noticing that the more weight we add, the better the wave's getting. Get in, let's get the board, let's do this. It's go time.
This is the moment of truth. If Morgan can surf behind this boat, we might have a winner on our hands.
looking back and seeing this old Army boat throwing a really respectable wave, that's a good feeling because we took something that wasn't supposed to do a certain thing, and now it's doing it, and it's doing it pretty well. Now what?
That's day one.
That's day one.
That's day one.
Bigger, make it better.
More
make
horsepower so I can have something to do.
horsepower,
Needs more power.
speakers,
A little more passenger comfort.
music.
More seating.
We got a work cut out for us. But it works.
Yeah!
We got to get this boat back to the shop because now we can throw more ballast at it. We can throw some different surf tabs at it to be able to get it to list and yaw and just really get that wave curling big exactly how we want it.
And you gotta sell it, right? Who's gonna buy something like this?
Why do you always have to ask me that? What can't we just live in the moment? Last week, we started one of the most ambitious projects we've ever taken on.
I'm the captain now.
We tracked down an old military Vietnam-era bridge-building boat.
It's got 26-inch props.
Now, we're gonna give it new life by converting it into a purpose-built wake surfing machine. I guarantee no other diesel shop is doing a project like this right now. When we bought it, I had no idea if the engines were gonna run.
Nice work.
Next, we had to take the boat up to the lake to see if it would even float.
You might have something here.
But if we have any hopes of getting out of this build alive and turning a profit, we have to make sure that this boat can consistently throw a massive surf wave. So we played with adding a bunch of weight to the boat when we took it up and tested it, because ultimately we need this thing to sit lower in the water to displace more water to create a bigger surf wave. But after adding all that weight to this boat, we're gonna need more power to be able to push it through the water and really highlight the key feature, which is those twin two-stroke Detroit diesel engines. In order to do that, each engine getting a turbo, plus custom exhaust, which will probably end up becoming a stack.
All we got to do on this guy is mount the turbo up, get all the plumbing hooked up,
Yeah.
and we can fire it up and hear it run.
These Detroit diesel engines in the boat already rely on a small supercharger to even be able to run at all. So by taking a couple of turbos and adding them to these engines, we're gonna be able to add another 10 or 20 pounds of nice, cold, compressed air, which in turn creates more power, which is gonna push this boat through the water and create that bigger wave. I wanna show the difference between running with the turbo, without the turbo.
Without the turbo?
So right now, without the turbo, fire it up, see what it sounds like.
Are you ready to hit the button?
3, 2, oh.
Anticipation.
And, So you hear that? That's basically just the exhaust coming straight out of the engine and just going into the room. Now, when we put the turbo on, you'll be able to hear the difference. Just watch. All right, let's go turbo. Let me explain to you how a turbo works. This is the exhaust coming out of the engine. It goes into the turbine housing. The turbine wheel in there, that starts to spin with the exhaust. It then circulates up and out, and then that's like the tailpipe right there. But that same wheel is connected to a compressor wheel over here. So as it's spinning, this compressor wheel over here is also sucking air in, and it's compressing it. It then pushes it into the intercooler. So we're basically using the engine's own waste exhaust to create power.
Well, you know, these turbos, they just got shipped in, so they are dry as they can possibly be. So we have to make sure we get a little bit of oil on the bearings for that initial spin up.
All right, ready?
Yep.
That sounds awesome.
That is the sound of a job well done.
That is the sound of a job very well done. That's the sound of a lot more power and a lot better surf wave, too. It's like this engine was born for a turbo.
Yes.
There's still so much left to do if we're going to turn this old Vietnam riverboat into a wave-throwing monster. We'll build a 115-gallon hull shaper that will also double as a ballast tank to add more weight and allow the boat to sit flatter and deeper in the water. To compensate for all that added weight, we installed HX35 turbo on each engine to give it a little extra boost. Then we'll go crazy with the design upgrades. We'll build a tower that's going to provide some shade for the driver and is going to serve double duty as a sunbathing deck upstairs. Finally, we'll cover the surface of the boat with gator step flooring
throw on a new coat of green army paint, and finish it off with a ton of other custom touches. Throwing this much time and money at a build that we, A, don't have a client for yet, and B, still aren't even 100% sure what the wave is gonna look like after all of our upgrades, it's a huge risk.
Pretty much ready to go. Finish up the plumbing and all, little details and get them in the boat.
Yup.
Dude, nice work. I'm proud of you.
Heck yeah.
Proud
Thanks,
of
man.
both of you. We just successfully turbocharged two 60-year-old engines.
That's right.
This boat is one of the most ambitious, unique, and exciting projects we've ever taken on here at the shop. And to be honest with you, stuff like this is what sets us apart from every other shop in the country.
That sounds awesome. We just successfully turbocharged two 60-year-old engines.
That's right.
We know how to get more power out of these twin diesel engines, but one of the most critical parts of this build is actually being able to take the big wave that this boat throws and make it manageable, surfable. So in order to do that, I'm enlisting the help of my genius brother and his genius friend.
Hey, little brother.
Look who it is. What's up, dude? Apparently, this guy knows everything there is to know about making a wave.
How you doing?
Let me introduce the expert. This is Tad. Hi.
Oh, we need an expert.
I brought a guy who does fluid dynamics in his sleep.
They're gonna come in, take a look at the boat, take a look at the hull design, and tell us what we need to do in order to transform that big, tumbling, whitewater, massive wave into something that's big, beefy, clean, and rideable on a surfboard. What would you recommend?
Maybe this thing is, maybe that can be removed. I
We
don't
could
know.
probably trim off at least a foot or two of that and help
Yeah.
taper that.
So maybe by getting rid of this, you can divert more of that flow into the middle here rather than down.
He says that we should just basically shape the hull a little bit by cutting the divider between the two props to allow that prop wash to flow into one center channel, which in turn is gonna beef up the center of the wave and keep either side of it clean.
We're gonna cut this center divider back about 22 inches so that we're still gonna be dividing the prop turbulence, but we're gonna shorten that. And what that's gonna allow us to do is it's gonna take the thrust of the water coming off the prop and kind of divert it back toward the center. And the thrust will then push back and hopefully it'll help elongate the wave.
Ah.
So I'm not sure what we're gonna get into once we're inside here, but the only way to know is
Start
just
cutting.
to start cutting.
Beep, beep.
Ramming speed!
Ramming speed straight to the skags and right up the prop.
Keep coming. Cutting into this boat, I have no idea what I'm gonna get into. It's 50 years old. I don't know what kind of structural integrity I'm gonna be getting into. Go ahead and start coming down. And it's not like I can just go out and find another one if I screw something up. So I gotta get it right the first time.
Let's go to work.
Go to war. Diesel Dave and I are gonna have to peel this thing back layer by layer to make sure we don't cut too far into anything and spring a leak in this boat. Let's go ahead and try to peel this panel.
There you go. Yes.
There's like something there.
Ah, foam insulation.
Full of foam. Maybe they just used that foam so this didn't fill with water and cause more weight on the boat.
Rip
So
it out.
let's pry that out, and then we might have a few more surprises in here, but oh, that's pretty nasty too.
Yeah, it is nasty stuff.
So check this out, Diesel. Now that I got the foam scraped out of this one side,
Yeah,
one of my fears came true.
that's metal
That-
structure.
That 3/8 rib that goes down the center actually extends all the way back. The big center rib structure of the boat runs all the way through the prop divider. So now I'm gonna have to cut that out and replace it. Back in the day, they definitely built things to last, but they didn't always use the safest materials. So now that I found this urethane foam, I'm a little nervous. Don't breathe any of this smoke, and we might want to get a fire extinguisher. I know if this burns, It gives off a laundry list of toxic gases.
Nice. Getting hot in there?
No, I'm holding my breath. I don't want to be breathing that crap. Yeah, victory! I'll get this all cut off and cleaned up. I'll get the plate cut made, and then I'll come grab you when I need help putting it back in. How does that sound?
Sounds good, buddy. I'll be ready.
Right on.
Ready when you are. Putting this stuff away.
Right on.
You done with the plies, right?
Yeah, I'll get that redrawn.
Back to the drawing board. We're busy turning an old Army boat into a purpose-built diesel surf boat. We're reshaping the hull by shortening up the center divider by 22 inches.
Yeah, victory!
And Morgan is fabbing up a new aluminum divider and a hull-shaping ballast tank that is going to completely change the way this boat sits in the water. So this is just going to go on like so, basically?
Oh, yeah. It's so the water can flow off of this and divert back into the center instead of distorting the waves.
Morgan got a prop divider that fits up perfectly to the old one, which is going to help clean up the wash and make one longer wave. Nice.
All right, let's get the ballast tank at least in place.
And it should be on the rivets?
Yeah, like pretty much right on those rivets. There it is.
Slips right on the skag, bro. Hey, bro! Don't you want to take a look at this new boat of yours, dude?
Check that thing out.
Oh, got the divider going in.
Cut the center divider back. I also made this hole shaper that's also counts as a ballast tank, which this holds 115 gallons of water, which is 954 pounds of ballast right at the furthest back point of the boat, which should weigh the boat down significantly.
The placement of this ballast tank, along with its ability to carry like 1,000 pounds of water, it's a big deal because now that takes the stern of the boat and pushes it that much deeper into the water, which in turn is going to give us a bigger wave, which doubles also as a surf platform.
Adding the weight, reconfiguring that shape, that will completely change the wave.
So then that brings me to my next thoughts. I've seen a lot of the newer boats, they have
trim
surf tabs that fold down like this to help really lift that boat over. That way we could fill the full 1,000 pounds of ballast and use the tabs to actually lift the boat. So we keep the boat weighted down in the back, but the tab lifts it over, and that way when you come to a stop, it levels back out.
Morgan's idea to add trim tabs to the back of the ballast tank that he built is actually a really good one, and I'm pretty sure that's going to allow the boat to list from one side to the other, which in turn is going to be able to let us clean up the wave one side to the other.
It's really kind of snowballed into a bigger project than we were originally anticipating. We haven't even started with the tower, the speakers, the gator step, all the stuff that's like going to be comfortable, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Problem is, we don't have time to build these from scratch because winter's coming, and if we're stuck with a boat that's really great at surfing in sub-zero temperatures, our market goes from this big to, well, we might not be able to sell it, and then we're stuck with a boat all winter. I'm calling in another favor from my buddy Colby, who's the one that went up to the lake with us on the first trip. He knows a lot about making really good waves. I need him to set me up with some surf tabs that we can add to the back of the boat that will be controlled by actuators, which we can in turn change from side to side to help clean up the wave.
So what we're doing is taking the old school design of being able to manipulate how the boat is riding in the water, and now we're going to change it to how the water is riding behind the boat. We'll adjust it up and down on an electric actuator that'll get it down to where we can control how we want the wave to roll. All right, man, you ready to go build this thing?
I'm ready.
Nice and rowdy?
Oh, yeah.
Now we're going to throw the port side on the transom. Do you know where your transom would be on you?
This is my transom.
So line her up. Where's our battery?
Just aft of you.
side.
You did it!
Let's have a race.
I'll call it. All right. You boys ready?
Ready.
On your marks. Get set. Actuate!
Oh, I got the jump on me. Got it. It's all right, dude.
Here's kind of what I'm thinking for the tower design. So one post here, one post there, platform up here.
So that I can sit up there.
No, like a full-blown sunbathing platform.
Crow's nest.
And then ready for this? A slide.
All right.
But what we also need to do is we got to get the gator step figured out. Those guys are coming by today. We can't have this roughled, rugged.
No, you probably don't. It's probably a little too rough. What are you looking at?
What's happening with your shirt? Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I've been losing a lot of weight.
It's too big, David.
Don't do the side knot. The gator step guys are coming, and I can't have a side knot.
See, now you got the right length. You got the right fit. Midsection looks good. Honestly, dude, I think that might become a thing.
Heavy D, Diesel Dave, what you guys?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Good to see you. Good to see
made
you. You your shirt thing all figured out here?
No,
good to go?
you tell me. Did I
we
get it figured
didn't.
out?
That's
Do you
all
guys
right.
make shirts? Let
No,
me see that
no,
real
but we
quick
do make
here.
gator step. Oh,
No, that's more of a cape. You're already thinking you're getting a cape.
Yeah.
So you have other samples?
yeah, so we got some different thicknesses.
But I kind of got to see what you guys have to offer,
Yeah.
like full lineup.
You guys want to take your shoes off and feel this stuff. We got different thicknesses, see what feels good on your feet.
Take our shoes off?
Well, you got to get the real experience.
Sure you want us to take our shoes off?
You've seen my feet.
So this is our standard thickness here, which is
Right.
3/3. And then you've got a little bit thicker here and a softer density underneath. And then this is our newest product.
Ooh, that's plush.
Yeah. That's
Got
our
memory
super
foam
soft
mattress.
series.
That one feels like a cement floor.
Dude, this one's impressive. So what am I looking at here?
It's a soft, comfortable decking, primarily
Soft, comfortable
for boats.
decking.
I'm talking about trying to make, basically a padded walkway. We're gonna have a floor in there with some, seats. Same thing. Can you make seats out of this?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we could do seat cushions out of it. You're probably going to want something a little more unique, a little more customized.
What density is this? Standard?
So that's going to be the standard density. Yeah,
And this one is in standard right now as well?
correct. Those are both the same.
Can you do this camo in, say, this thickness?
Yeah,
You could do this made out of this.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're talking.
That's like new carpet.
Huh?
Yeah, no, I don't like that anymore.
I just can't believe how dirty your feet are.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive. You got it that dirty that quick.
I'm in your shop.
The new tower that Ryan Morgan put together is unreal and over the top.
It provides shade for the driver and doubles as a second-story sunbathing deck.
And Rush has welded up some sick stacks. The turbo diesels are back in the boat. Now the guys are fabbing up an automatic cover over the diesel engines to make sure anybody getting in and out of the boat don't burn themselves. This boat is 100% custom, all the way down to the seating on the inside. You can get in and out, and there's tons of room for a ton of people. These guys are going hard on this build. They are super serious. And you know what? It's because I set the tone. You know what I mean?
It's been a pretty long journey getting this old military boat converted into a purpose-built diesel surfing machine. I mean, it's been a lot of work. And now we're finishing it off with a brand new fresh coat of army green paint. And then we're gonna go through it and just tighten down literally every nut and bolt, make sure it's watertight, add a few custom touches. Bam, we're hitting the water. All right, today's the day where we find out if the old army boat has been successfully converted into a wake surfing monster. We're down here at the Sand Hollow Reservoir in St. George, Utah.
And we've got Colby from Brigade coming down, and he's bringing in a professional surfer. His buddy Cole, apparently the dude can like seriously shred. So this is the true test. This is it. We need this boat to throw a massive surf wave so that we can go start looking for a client.
Heavy.
Yo.
What am I looking at, man?
What's up, dudes? I don't know, man.
This is not what it was before.
Obviously, we made some changes.
Yeah.
Right?
This boat build has been one of the most ambitious projects we've ever taken on here at the shop because we started with an old Vietnam-era bridge boat. From there, we converted it into one of the only diesel-powered surf boats. To get this boat sitting deeper in the water in order to be able to create a bigger wave, we modified the rear of it by completely redesigning the hull, adding on a new section which doubles as a ballast tank and a wave shaper. We also modified the divider that goes between the two props because we don't want two separate flows of water. We channeled them into one centralized flow, which in turn makes a bigger wave. From there, we added some wave shaping tabs to the back of the ballast tank to be able to clean up the wave and shape it exactly how a surfer would want. When we got the boat, it came with 2 Detroit diesels installed plus 2 extras. We changed every seal, every gasket, cleaned them up, tuned them up, and we also added an HX35 turbo on each engine, which is going to create anywhere between 15 and 25 pounds of boost to be able to get more power out of these old 2-stroke Detroits. Our original plan escalated into a second story on our boat. Then obviously the best way to finish this boat off was by adding a brand new fresh coat of military green paint, along with a bunch of other little custom touches that make this boat literally the only thing like it in the world.
So we could sit here and talk about this thing all day, or we could make history.
Let's see what it can do.
All right,
I mean,
let's go.
it's all about the wave.
Yeah, surf's up, bro! Yeah! Tubular! Get in the crow's nest!
She sounds good. Yeah, sounds really good, dude. Those turbos woke those engines up like you wouldn't believe. If this boat doesn't end up throwing a good wave today, it's gonna be a pretty good waste of money for us.
Hammer down, Heavy!
Let's get it. All right, you ready for this? Let's hear them turbos.
Did that hull change and redesigned that and added more water and more ballast, that was kind of a roll of the dice because we weren't 100% sure.
You're gonna ride high, it's gonna look dope. That's pretty solid.
But from the captain's seat, I could see the wave came in big, it came in really nice and steep, it came in clean. But obviously, we got to figure out what the surfer thinks. As much fun as I've had with this boat, we're getting ready to go into winter, right? And we've spent a ton of money on this thing, so he's got to be able to surf this wave. Otherwise, we might not be able to sell it. This is the moment of truth. You got to give me your real, honest opinion because I want to know if that's a good wave or not.
I'm a little worried, but I think we can do it.
Let's go, dude.
Okay. What do you think, man?
I think you're ready, dude.
Let her rip!
The diesel power was insane. I haven't felt anything like it. It was awesome. Just yanked me right out of the water, just right into surfing. The way that the diesel was putting out was great. Great shape, lots of push. It was super easy to surf.
I'm more thrilled and more excited than I ever thought I could be just because of how everything's working perfectly. All of our hard work came together, and we now have this boat that's not only powerful, unique, sounds amazing, but it's comfortable, it's functional, and this thing is gonna get a lot of attention anywhere it goes.
for 10 plus years, boat mechanicking and then also doing all this type of stuff, and I have never seen anything like this.
Nice ride.
Not bad for an old Army boat, right?
Not bad at all. I don't think anything's like this, and the first thing I said to Dave when I saw it today was, how does your mind even come up with this stuff? So tell me, what does it take for me to make sure this thing stays
You know what's funny,
behind-
bro? You just played yourself hard. You want it?
After I saw the smile on Cole's face when he was out there, one of the things that I like most for Brigade Wake Surfing is being able to give our riders a unique experience. And what could be a more unique experience than riding this diesel twin-screw motor boat? I had to have it.
I feel like anybody would want to own this boat. However, I feel like it would be in best hands with you. I've had a feeling ever since we took Colby out the first time that he might potentially be interested in something unique like this.
Wow, man. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Look at that wave.
Because it will take a unique buyer for this type of boat because it's a very unique watercraft.
How much?
I'll give you the good guy deal, and you can pay less than half of what a brand new surf boat that does the exact same thing would cost you. 55, and I'll just close my eyes and walk away from it, I guess.
55. Deal?
I mean, I don't have 55, or I would try to outbid him,
Dude,
but
55's a deal. That way we make a little bit of money. We get our money back out of it. And we were able to do something like we've never done before.
And we get free rides anytime we want?
Yeah, that free rides.
Free rides every time we want?
Anytime.
Yes.
Anytime.
If you look back at some of our builds, you got an electric-powered mini drag bike. You've got an Excursion. Surprisingly, we've never built one before. You got a diesel-powered boat. You got a square-body Blazer. Like, all these different things.
Track 6x6.
A track 6x6. I mean, I'm telling you, we went crazy, to be honest with you. And it's been fun because being able to be creative and being able to do stuff that we've never done before, that's why we're still in this business. We're just getting started. I mean, really, where can we go?
How about Florida to beat those dirty mutter truckers in a mega truck race?
Huh.